over 70 or 75% of Nigerian Gen Zs, females, or if I put it this way, ladies between the age of 15 and 25 in Nigeria will become unmarried and heavily depressed 20 years from now. They will become unmarried and heavily depressed 20 years from now. Ladies between the age of 15 and 25 in Nigeria today. This may sound like I've just laid a course. No. You see, if you want to understand the future, you have to look at the present and study patterns. History repeats patterns. With history, you can predict the future. Now, our foremothers, those women that give birth to men and ladies who are close to the age of 40, 45 now, most of them, more than 98% of them got married, and they recorded less than 0.5% divorce in their marriages. You want to know why? Very simple. These women, number one, were under the tutelage and guidance of their parents and their sponsors. In many of the cases, it was their sponsors and their parents that screened the people that would marry them, and then they went to live with these men. And even while they were with their husbands, they still had respect for their parents, and that they were under their husband. They were loyal to their husband. Secondly, these women were not materialistic. They were not materialistic. They were contented with the little they have. There was no technology. Many of them, especially in the rural areas, once they get married, they go face their farms in the morning, take care of their children. Their roles were defined. Thirdly, is that these women married for love. In most of the cases, they see a man, they like him, and they follow him. And once they are with that man, they push every other distraction aside. And there is this high level of respect for that man. 4 is strong values. The value system amongst those women of that era was very, very high. Virginity values of not being seen cheating on your husband, those values were held strong. That is why they recorded a high percentage, a very, very low percent of divorce. They were very loyal to their husbands, and the same value system, they transferred it to their children, who became very successful most of the time. But what do we have today? What do we have in Nigeria of today? And then I will also delve into the economic aspect, but not now. It will go on as we are discussing this, because I want you to understand this. I want to understand the pattern, and I want your eyes to be opened. If you are a young lady today or you're a young man, you advise your sister, because this is what is coming and there is no stopping of it, because God has given us the power to make choice, and our results are directly or indirectly connected with the choices we'll make in life. So now, why will 70% of ladies between 15 and 25 remain unmarried? Number one reason is this: the population of females who are ready to get married versus the population of marriage age males is very, very wide. In Nigeria, let's say Nigeria is a country of close to 250 million, because it's been long with this census. So let's say unmarried age adults are 60 million. And the population of females are usually higher than that of males. And that 60 million, maybe 35 million are females, and then 25 million are males. 35 million females, 25 million males. Someone will say, how do you come about this? Yeah, I read a book many years ago, I think 2012 or 2013, how the male population reduces over time as the female population increases. Firstly, in the female fetus seems to be stronger, biologically stronger than the male fetus. And in that book, it was carried out, or it was revealed to me in that book, that there is more male miscarriage than female miscarriage. So there is a higher number of female birth rates than male birth rate. That is one. So even before they are born, the females trump the males in numbers. That's one. Number two is that the males tend to delve into life-threatening activities, crimes, all manner of things, and that's why you see before the age of 20 or 25, there's still a reduction in number because females don't delve into all these dangerous and life-threatening activities. So that is also possible to reduce the number of males. So you can see by the age of 15 to 25, the number of males becomes far behind that of females. That's one. So normally now, based on this, we may have inside 60 million, that 35 million may actually be 40 million and 20 million. It may be half of it, or let's just leave it at 25 million. That's one. Now, another thing is this. From the age of 15, 16, a girl can be married. Yes, we know about the normal 18 years according to a nation constitution and the rest. But from the age of 15, 16, a girl can comfortably go into a man's house, take good care of him, take care of domestic front, so long as a man can provide. Because if you look, maybe at the age of 9, a girl that's well brought up can take care of her younger ones before her mother comes back. But the boy at the age of 15 doesn't even know his left from his right. In many, if not most of the cases. So from the age of 15, 16, a girl can get married, get pregnant, start taking care of her home front. But it cannot happen with that of males. It can't happen. You know why? Now let's take it to our educational institution. The average age of graduation in Nigeria now, it used to be between 20 and 25. But if you factor in many factors in Nigeria today, you see that it has moved from 25 to 30. So the average graduation age is now between 25 and 30. Now, I will take the upper limit, which is 30, because that's what is gradually becoming the case right now, or maybe the median, 28, 30. Now, so when an average graduate male comes out in Nigeria today, there is a 70 to 90% possibility that for the next 5 to 10 years, he may not have a meaningful employment, that's if he even gets one at all. Statistics have it that they have between about 1.8 million graduates in Nigeria every year. So we have about 2 million, let me just round it up, 2 million graduates in Nigeria every year. Now, inside that 2 million, over 80% will become either unemployed or underemployed in the next 10 years. For the next 10 years. Now, let's say 20% are the ones that are employed, and then they are not underemployed. What do you mean by underemployment? Underemployment simply means the money you are being paid cannot even take care of your bills, let alone you save. Let's say the 20% out of the 2 million, which is 400,000, are have jobs between that give them 150 to 300,000 or 150 to 250,000. Remember that the cost of living now and that time 30-40 years ago is different. The standard of living is different. Everything is different. Inflation is very, very high. Nigeria have high food inflation. Nigeria have high cost of housing, high transportation, high everything in Nigeria today in terms of standard of living. So the chances When I mean high everything, I mean for you, the bills you have to pay. The standard of living now is different from that time. So you see, before that young man, maybe he gets that job at the age of 35, will be able to save up and become financially stable to now make the step of going to get married, bringing a lady and start taking good care of her. It may take him another 10 years. So which means the marriage age possible now in Nigeria is getting to become between 40 and 45 years. And that is for those 400,000 that got a job. Remember, we have close to 1.8 million that are either unemployed or underemployed. Now, when you multiply that times 10 good years, that what do we have? We will be having close to 1.8 times 10, that's about 18 million adult marriageable males, but who are not prepared. And I'm just factoring in the graduates here. I'm using the graduates. You know, we have males who are not graduates, who maybe stopped at secondary school. It becomes even harder for those ones because you need to have good certificate to get a good job, or somebody who is not able to pay for university in most cases may not be able to find other ways, except maybe you go to serve, you follow the Igbo apprenticeship scheme, and not everybody is Igbo in Nigeria. So you can see inside that adult marriageable age that is 35 million in population, you may see, 25 million population, we may have less than 2 million who are ready, who are capable of getting married. Remember that we have about over 35 million marriageable females, but the people that can marry them, who are financially able to marry them, are less than or about 2 million. That's 2 million versus 35 million. Remember that inside those 2 million that are financially ready, it may not be all of them that are prepared to get married. Now, because of that is another discussion on its own. Maybe 1 million may be ready to get married in another 10 years. So you may see some of them at the age of 45, they are financially okay, but they are not ready to get married. So you may see that at the end of the day, it's just 1 million males that are ready, financially ready to marry 35 million unmarried females. And that brings us to the concluding factor. The females of Nigeria of today are very, very materialistic. They don't want to settle, according to them, they don't want to settle for less. An ideal man to them is a man who has millions in his account, who have very good car, who can spend a lot of money in clubs, in parties. So you can see in a region, or let's say a local government, we have, let's say, 10,000 females. These 10,000 females do not care about hardworking plumbers, hardworking electricians, hardworking security guards, hardworking bricklayers, hardworking contractors, hardworking young men who maybe are earning between 100,000 naira or 80,000 naira per month. They don't care about any of those men. They are after the very little percent of men who they will meet in certain places who can give them 50,000 in the day, 100,000, 10, 15,000 naira. Those are the men they are chasing, forgetting that for every of those men that they are chasing, the population is just as exploded. So you can see, while they are busy looking for those men, time is going, because those men are few in numbers. And because those men are very few in number, I'll use the phrase, high valued men are very few in number. The competition for those few men is so high and intense, and in many cases that is one of the reasons those men, a lot of them don't want to settle down, because they have access to so many females who have seen them as a potential husband. And while time is going, those females are adding in age. I also want you to know that the prime range of a man and a woman, females and males, is not the same. The prime of a female is between 15 and 25. That's when you're very hot. That's when men are going after you. Some, depending on your physiognomy, can extend to 27. But from 27, 28, you are out of your prime. You're out of your prime. That guy at the age of 37, 38, 39, 40, who is all over you between the age of 21, 20, 23, around 27, 28 is your younger sister at the age of 16 that is interested now. Because men like fresh things. Men like tender things. Men are after tender women. There is no sight that is as beautiful. Let me not even go there. That's another topic again on its own. So when you go out of prime, those missed calls you see, 100 missed calls before you wake up in the morning, it will reduce like 5 missed calls. Free money you will no longer be getting again. That's another topic. So you will now wake up one day and realize that you are 38 years, 39, 40 years of age, and the demand on you have reduced, and you have very limited or no choice to make. And by the time they get to that year, 40, 41, 42, they'll become very, very depressed. If not suicidal, they'll become very, very, very depressed. You will look back and realize that those men who were begging you, coming after you, they are married, or they are no longer interested in you because you have passed your prime. A woman is like an orange. That period when the orange is ripe, everybody wants to pluck the orange. But you know what happens later. So, and these Nigerian girls between the age of 15 and 25 have ticks all these conditions. So, if you are a young lady and you are seeing young men who probably do not meet up with that financial standard, but they are God-fearing, they are hardworking, they are visionary, they have plans for tomorrow, because a very wealthy young man today once started from somewhere. Follow that young man. A good husband is not easy to find these days. But you Nigerian girls have been so influenced by the Western American culture. Can you see how destroyed the level of psychological problems, mental health have exploded in the Western world? It's because of these things you people are following today. I am warning. Now that there is time, the wave that is coming is going to be so high. The level of mental health and depressive states that is going to befall Nigerian girls between the age of 15 and 25 now is going to be so high. The level of regret will be so much. And I pray it does not lead to mass suicidal attempts by them. So, a word is enough for the wise. The prime of men is usually very, very wide, especially when they have made it financially. They still have a gap. It's between the age of 35 and 55, 20 years. A young man, yes, can still call that person young, relatively young. At the age of 55, can take good care of himself, become who's very wealthy, have contacts, have everything, can still get a girl of 16. Yes, but it is very difficult, if not impossible, if you turn the tables around. So I believe I've made my point. Thank you, and God bless.